Dolby sound. Check. Ooh, ooh, there. Ooh. All right, let's get it right now. All right. Okay. Being a baby mama, paid. Paid. I am naturally organized. I can execute big projects into small steps. And my biggest project of all was raising my child. Naturally, I'm able to do these things. Is it perfect on paper? No, but it is perfect for me. The first job was in digital marketing. Essentially, all those ads you see on websites, I make sure they were on them goddamn websites. Cute, but did not pay me enough. I was thankful for it getting me to the city, but it was time to skyrocket. Second job was an account manager, sales. I sold digital media. It was a really small company. I loved the team. It was a great working environment. I could show up as myself, but the problem was the sales itself. I never could get used to selling. I don't like the idea of someone telling me no and then I'm supposed to keep talking to you like you didn't say that. I don't like that. I don't like that because when I say no, you better leave me alone. I was best at that job when I sold something and I could get the process going. That was like something that took me a while to realize. Okay, this is going to happen. Let's make it happen. But selling you to want the thing to happen, that wasn't my thing. I didn't like that. I also knew that sales was not for me because I was pretty much becoming an alcoholic. I told everyone and my mama that I hated my job. I resented everyone. I resented myself. I would show up to work, and the only way for me to get to lunch was to take shots by 10. That was a huge red flag. I didn't wake up like, I can't wait to help my clients. I didn't like my clients. And one day I got fired. Fired, child. I sobbed because I was scared and my ego, and I was indignant, and I was just afraid because I have a child and I've never been fired before, and that was a big deal for me. And I sobbed all day. And then the next day I woke up and I realized I'm free. I am so free and we are so back. I needed to be released because I was not going to leave on my own. And the universe was giving me a sign, and it was my chance to pivot. It was my chance to do something I really enjoyed. I now had two jobs that I didn't really care about, didn't really like doing. And so now this is my chance. This is my moment to bloom. It like clicked for me that, oh shit, I've been project managing this entire time. If you are a mom and you have to manage a bus schedule and a school schedule and your commute schedule and your getting home schedule and your dinner schedule and then any other schedule that come in before between that, and you got to do that every day regardless of the weather, regardless, like that is all project management. How am I going to get my son into camp? How am I going to get my son to daycare? How am I going to get my child, to get some clothes, some school clothes, but also take care of myself and not make sure I also feel good in my clothes so I can be an example for my child. Transferable skills, project management. When you have to emotionally regulate with your child or teenager, you have to keep calm while presenting a safe space for them to be emotional and figure out their emotions and talk through them and all of that. That is emotional regulation. With project management is a lot of the times you're just managing personalities who are doing the things that you need them to do. No one wants to talk about that. They don't put that on actual job posts, but it's the other part of project management. You are absolutely doing emotional regulation on a daily basis. But when you are emotionally regulating with a teenager, that's light work compared to working with a teenager. A recent example of when I had to fully project manage with my child was getting him to Europe. Europe was the big project, and I had to figure out two major pieces. I had to figure out the financial piece, and then I had to figure out the passport piece. He wanted to go, and that's all he had to tell me. And I was like, all right, we're gonna make this happen. The financial piece, gratefully, and we are very, very blessed, fell right into place between scholarships, between my friends, love them, between my family. That was taken care of. Thousands of dollars. This is an optional trip through his high school. The other piece was passport. So his daddy said, "No, I'm not signing for you to get a passport." I have full sole custody, so we don't need his signature. The problem is I left the proof and the paperwork in Boston, and that this was during a time where the Zoom court dates were, it was a whole hard thing. I had to figure out a plan. First thing you do for any mom, a lot of moms, I hope, is get some advice. So I got some advice, asked around, told people my problem, executed. Emailed this person, called this person, did this, did that, and my child had a passport and flew to Europe and had a really good time that he deserves to have. These are things you do in your sleep. These skills you do on a regular basis in life. And when you're doing it for other humans, like a child that you really care for, that is the kind of power in your skill set that you need to believe in. So I get fired. Thank God. I get my little cute severance, so I wasn't too worried about rent, at least for the immediate future. So amen. But this was at the end of 2019, moving into 2020, not knowing what was to come in the world. I was able to reflect. Let's not go back to a life of sales. You've had all this, a million jobs at this point, girl, and you are a badass mom. So, like, how can we do something that you do all the time? And I'm like, well, what do I do all the time? Well, I'm always organizing, I'm managing, and I'm emotional regulating, and I'm budgeting, I'm financing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. The jobs open that I see that list all that stuff is project management. And that's essentially how I got into project management. First project manager job is not the one I have now. It was with the agency when we created like healthcare videos. So like if you had open enrollment and you had a instructional video of like, this is what this means, we made those videos and I was a project manager for the process of those videos. And I loved it. Really great team, really, frankly, easy job. So that was affirming, but it just wasn't paying me enough. I needed some more coin. I continued to reposition myself and boast about I'm that girl. That's how I landed the job that I have now. And I'm a senior project manager at a digital marketing agency. And I manage multi-million dollar scopes. I've managed all kinds of scopes for all kinds of industries, all kinds of companies. I have an international team now. I manage all kinds of people, projects, job roles, and skill sets and things like that, and all kinds of contracts. So it's really, really cool to see the evolution of where I'm at now, because I'm just really fucking good at it. I really like the collaboration and just making sure that humans feel like humans and that we all work together to get something done and execute something. But the foundation of that and who I am has a lot to do with me being a mom, executing and doing a pretty good job at my biggest project ever, which was raising my son in a safe, loving, healthy environment, with the odds against me. That is how I've translated everything in my life to each other. Trust me when I say, if you're a Black woman, forget the mom part for a second. If you're a Black woman, you are a project manager. Do you code switch? That's emotional regulation. Have you made $100 stretch for a week and a half, 2 weeks? Exactly. You have to have expert level organization in your job just to stand out and keep that bitch. And then when you add the layer of being a mom, when you're foundationally rooted in making sure that your ship stays afloat through certain steps, certain processes, certain guidelines, that is all transferable skills. If you're watching this, you're like, girl, I don't want to be a project manager. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is knowing who you are and the stuff you do every day, and talking yourself up and boasting about it, and finding a way to take your life up a notch because of the shit you do every day anyway. That is hopefully what you're getting from this video. Your story and your career and your path does not have to be perfect. Mine damn sure ain't perfect. That's why I'm talking about it, because it ended up being perfect for me. And now I'm in a place where not only is my child taken care of, but we are in a financially stable, loving, supportive environment. I mean, what more can you ask for? I do want to point out also that education is very important. I don't really harp on education throughout this video, obviously. I mentioned how I was going to grad school because that is the path that I chose. I'm also the eldest daughter. I didn't have a choice but to go to grad school. So that was my way of executing that that expectation of me. I'm happy I did it because I didn't know what part of business I was really going to go into. And there were multiple parts of business that I enjoyed learning about. It wasn't just project management, but there are a lot of foundational skills, especially the collaboration piece. I learned that in grad school. Really like honed in on that skill set. Education is important. So whether it's a PMP or a graduate degree or whatever, we're Black girls. You know what the deal is. You're gonna have to get something. I will say that every single interview that I've had, I absolutely boast about being a single mom. Please understand who you're about to hire, and this is what I do. And don't play with me. I have responsibilities, real ones. Boast about your shit. Understand who you are. Figure out what you're good at on a regular day and transfer that into whatever you want it to do. I'm now transferring my really, really strong project management skill set that I've been learning the last 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years. Now I want to work with women-led companies. I know women-led businesses are very special. They're flourishing right now. It's like a huge booming type of industry right now because we're killing it on all levels. Women led organizational cultures are very special. And when you implement a process that doesn't seamlessly work with that culture, it can cause friction that's just frankly unnecessary. So I'm bringing that expertise to women led businesses, and just making sure that the soul and integrity of their company works perfectly with the process and organizational structure that's needed. And then I'm also continuing to throw events. If you ever thrown a party of any kind, it is project management on steroids. Continuing to do that. And then this is project management too. Like, I have a whole process behind this bitch. I am no longer just getting on here and talking. It probably seems that way, and I want it to seem that way, but there is a process behind it because it's the only way I can do anything nowadays. It's got to make sense and it's got to have steps. I hope someone took something from this. Drop something in the comments if you want to continue this conversation. If you have questions, especially Black girls, I am happy to help. Talk yo shit. If you take nothing else from this video, take that from it. You're that girl. Are we done? All right. I'll see y'all soon.